Welcome, welcome. We'll give it a few minutes before we start to give everyone a chance to join the session. Hope everyone is having a good afternoon. If you're in the Eastern time zone, rather.
Yeah, and if you join, if you want to comment where you're from, we'd love to see where all of our viewers are logging in from. It's awesome.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hello, Jack. Welcome. Omaha, Nebraska. Miss Woods, welcome. Roswell, Georgia. Ruston, okay. They're coming in too fast, Kansas City. Hope you're not a Chiefs fan.
Oh, we got from Canada. Hey, Canada.
Nice. Valparaiso, okay.
Saskatchewan, awesome.
Tampa, Florida, okay. The Bucks, go Bucks. I am a Bucks fan. We're winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm claiming it already.
You already got your money down, huh?
No, I don't gamble. We might lose if I gamble.
Imaginary money.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. Monopoly money. I'll take that. West Seattle, welcome.
Long Island, South Carolina.
Orlando.
Seattle. Hey. I went to Seattle. Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. I would move there.
See, we'll give it maybe a few more seconds and then we'll go ahead and get started.
St. Louis, Philadelphia.
I see a Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
Shame on you. We actually beat you all in the Super Bowl, but it's okay. Hopefully we see you all again. Okay. Let's see, I'll give it a few more seconds.
Yeah, we got Nashville where Mosaic is based. Awesome. Aisha, hi. I know that name. Oh, Jennifer.
Okay, perfect.
I was like, I'm looking at all the names now. I'm like, oh, I know these.
Now we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
We'd like to welcome you all to this webinar today. What we're doing is a live Q&A around open enrollment for two areas of the UKG platform, one being BI reporting and the other benefits administration, formerly known as Prime, AKA Ben Admin, AKA Ben Prime, AKA the system. We are your hosts. You have Robin, who is our expert in BI reporting, and myself, who's the subject matter expert for all things benefits administration, formerly known as Prime. Basically, what we've done today is we wanted to thank you all first off for joining us, and we wanted to take this opportunity to have a live Q&A session to where you all can simply ask us questions around these two areas, pretty much as it relates to open enrollment, because we know you all are coming up in open enrollment season. You are still probably deciding on your plan design, whether or not you want to keep your current benefits or change benefits, carriers, all that fun stuff as it relates to open enrollment. So if you do have questions already, feel free to post them in the comments. We'll definitely get to those questions. But first off, what we wanted to do was go through the slide deck that we have for you all. We took the liberty of going through the UKG community and finding some questions that a good amount of clients tend to have a question on. And we want to see if we can kind of give you a simplified answer or answer the best way possible for these questions. But most importantly, this live Q&A session is for you all that decided to participate today. We basically wanted to take the time to go through your questions that you post in the comments and basically try to get you an answer. If we're unable to get you an answer, or if we're unable to basically answer your question today, definitely feel free to reach out to us at marketing@mosaic-cg.com with your questions. That way we'll look to get you an answer from there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the slides.
All right. And that's my cue. Sorry, I'm doing the navigating here.
So as I said, for the agenda, we're going to talk about benefits administration as well as business intelligence reporting. So that's our topics for today. So like I said, please, if you have questions, please have it centered around these two items. Overall, if you find that you like this live Q&A session, let us know, send us your comments, follow us on LinkedIn, send your comments and your feedback at marketing@mosaic-cg.com. Also, too, let us know any other topics you would like for us to have live Q&A sessions on. And we'll definitely look to do this in the future for things like learning, the UKG payroll platform, UKG Pro Classic benefits, dimensions, all of the UKG products as a whole. We'll definitely look to have future live Q&A sessions for you on those. So first off, we're going to talk about questions that we've seen as it relates to benefits administration. So the first question that I tend to get asked a lot, even with clients that have been on the platform, it could be 2, 3, 4+ years. They tend to ask a question around the pay date versus the pay period method. And this question was actually in the UKG community. It was like, UKG Pro Benefits Administration, please explain the difference between the period date and the pay date method as it functions for benefit deductions. Really, the difference for this is the timing in which you need to take deductions for these benefits. For instance, with the next slide, we'll start with the pay date method. With the pay date method. And basically how that works is, let's say, for instance, you have someone who has a change effective date, which in Ben Admin is also the cover start date. That date is March 1st. Even if the period has ended on February 29th or February 28th, and let's say that person, elected the benefits February 26th, the next paycheck is actually March 2nd. So with the pay date method, you're essentially going to take that deduction for March 1st on that March 2nd paycheck. So that's really what the pay date method is. And then as it relates to the period method, using the same change effective date or cover start date of March 1st, if it's a scenario where basically the period is March 1st to March, let's say 16th, and that person elected their benefit to start on March 1st, with the period method, you'll actually be taking that payroll deduction on March 16th. So it's really the timing in terms of how soon you need to take that payroll deduction. Another question I kind of get asked around these two methods as well is, which one should we use? And I always tell groups, it's basically your choice in terms of how soon you need to take the benefit deduction. So if it's a scenario where someone has a change and you need to take that deduction on the first paycheck that's coming up, then that's when you'll want to take that deduction. Or if it's a scenario where you like to have a period to where all these different changes take effect as far as benefit deductions, and at the end of that period, then you'll look to take that payroll deduction. That's when you'll want to apply the pay period date method for this item right here. So those are the questions I usually get asked when it comes to the pay date versus the period method. The next question that we have from the UKG community, revolves around dependent tracking. And a question that someone had was basically, asking with their vision file, they have it set up to basically where it allows dependents. However, in the system, they're not tracking dependents on the file, but they wanted to know If they decide to allow dependents in the system and that information to go over on the file, is that considered a configuration change for open enrollment and what type? And essentially, yes, it's considered a configuration change of the actual plan design. In terms of your plans, it needs to be configured behind the scenes to allow dependents to be able to get on that plan and go on the file over to the carrier. And with that configuration change, you have to do testing to make sure that, that dependent is populating on the plan, that it's populating on the EDI file that needs to go to the carrier. So for this type of scenario, it would be a change as opposed to just, like using the benefit offering of rates only when you're going through renewal. So if you have changes like a dependent, allowing dependents to go over on the file and that's something that's not set up in the system, then if you need it to be set up for open enrollment, it is considered a plan change from a configuration perspective. So you'll have to get that updated behind the scenes. And let's see. Okay, now this is a fun question I've actually gotten asked quite a few times. Some clients tend to want to utilize it, and others, they just stick with what they're currently doing as far as open enrollment. I've actually had the pleasure of implementing a client utilizing the mobile app. And for this question, how well does the mobile UKG Pro Benefits Administration, formerly known as Prime, mobile app work for open enrollment? And from my experience implementing the client on that, utilizing the mobile app, they didn't have any issue for the enrollment experience. Side note, the only thing I say they kind of struggled with initially is utilizing the right app within the Android store, Google Play Store, or the Apple Store. You have to use the latest UKG app as opposed to the UKG Classic app in order to be able to enroll utilizing the mobile app. If you're utilizing the UKG Classic app, you won't be able to take advantage of enrolling into benefits. And for benefits administration, you actually have to be utilizing the newer UKG Pro app. So that's a question I get asked a lot. But in terms of how well it works, like I said, the client that I had the pleasure of implementing this on, they didn't have any issue from enrollment experience. They were able to successfully enroll into benefits for open enrollment, and everything was fine.
And we have a couple questions in the chat. One of them is in regards to talking about termination of benefits between the pay methods, the period versus the pay. So if that's something you want to follow up on, I know that may be a long answer. If you want to follow up on that one at the end, or and then I know we have another one to get a screen grab of method 1 of the pay item. So if it's okay, is it okay if I back up to go ahead and let them get that screen grab real quick? I know we're going to be sending out the slides as well, the slide deck, but I can. You want to get that screen grab real quick? We can do that for you. I'll hold it for a second. Let me kind of go back. Hope you got that.
Okay. And the next question, we'll visit we'll go back to those methods there as it relates to the term. It is kind of like a long answer. So I'll try to shorten it. For notifications, is there a way to be able to get notified by email whenever someone has a benefit administration change for their enrollment? And there are actually 2 ways that you can basically do that. If you go to the next slide. One way is going into the plugin section to basically set up notifications for life events. So essentially what you'll do, and this is the navigation of how you get to that section, you will turn on the life event notification to be notified by email whenever someone has an update via a life event. And this is the navigation steps you would take, going through the menu, administration, benefits administration, and system administration, system, notifications, and then life event. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's the steps you would take in order to get to this notification. The next is actually a report. It's one of the reports that I like to recommend to customers or clients, and it's actually the benefit changes report. And essentially, what you're able to do is set this report up. You can save it, or you can have it scheduled to run whenever you need it to run periodically. And this report basically allows you to see any changes that employees make. So if there's a scenario where someone's electing into a new coverage, you're able to have this report created and scheduled so that it can run periodically to show you what changes that person made and when. And if it was an admin that made the change, this report will be able to show you that information as well. And last but not least, as it relates to benefits, this is a question I also get asked by groups as well. What are some of the things to consider post-open enrollment? And some of the things that you should consider post-open enrollment are check for incomplete enrollments. There's actually a report in the reporting area of benefits administration that allows you to check to see if someone's actually went into the benefits administration system and, they kind of played around, but for whatever reason, they may have got distracted or something may have came up, so they didn't have a chance to go back to continue their open enrollment elections. This report allows you the opportunity to take a look to see who started but haven't completed their enrollment so that you can reach out to them to make sure that they go in to complete their enrollment. There's also another report out there for open enrollment not started. So anybody who hasn't gone in, if it's a scenario where they need to go in to make elections, let's say you have an active open enrollment, then you can pull that report to let you know who hasn't gone in to touch the system at all to make any type of election. That way you can reach out to those employees to make sure they enroll into benefits if they want benefits for the new plan year. Another thing to kind of consider is one-off enrollments. So you may have a scenario where after your open enrollment closes, you have those, employees that may come to you and for whatever reason, a life situation may have happened, or there may have been a bad argument or something that caused them not to be able to enroll into benefits. So you kind of, want to have a strategy around how do you handle one-off scenarios of those employees that come to you after open enrollment closes to determine whether or not you still want them to enroll into benefits for the new plan year, whether it be extending out the window for employees for an extra few days or a week or so, or if you just want to allow admins to have an extra period before the new plan year starts to enroll those one-off employees into open enrollment. Another thing to consider as well are confirmation statements. You want to ensure that most of your employees have email addresses in the system so that they're able to get their confirmation statement once they elect into benefits. And another thing with this piece as well, you also too want to try to get a few communications out to those employees to basically go over their benefits to make sure that everything looks good before the new plan year start. That way, once the plan year rolls around, they're not coming to you saying, hey, I went to the doctor or I went to the pediatrician with my son or daughter, and they said we didn't have coverage, what happened? And then come to find out, they may have had coverage or they may not have had coverage, or whatever scenario happened, with them not confirming that information ahead of time, them going to the doctor and finding out they don't have coverage. You kind of want to prevent that piece by just, stressing to your employees to make sure they verify their benefits before the new plan year starts, so that if something needs to be updated or corrected, you all can do that. So that's another big piece as well. Also, aside from that, document request rules. You want to make sure that the document request rules, not document request rules, I'm thinking about configuration, document requests. You want to make sure that those are up to date, make sure that employees have provided the necessary documentation. If not, try to stress to them to get that information to you as soon as possible before the new plan year starts. That way, once the file goes over to the carrier with the new enrollments, their information populates on those files. And once again, it's not a scenario where that employee goes to the provider when the new plan year start and the provider saying they don't have coverage. All because, let's say, for example, they didn't provide their document to you all, so their enrollment is just sitting in the system. So you'll definitely want to make sure that's taken care of as well. And then also too, what I have on here as well is EDI files. You want to make sure that they're up to date, that they're good to go to send your new enrollment information. For the most part, they usually are, but you just want to kind of, constantly make sure that there are no issues as it relates to your EDI files, so that when the new plan year starts, everyone's coverage is in place. Something else too that's not on here that I want to mention also is, before your plan year start, another big piece you want to kind of keep on like a checklist or something is the deduction stop utility process. And that's basically stopping deductions and earnings for the current plan year, so that you can push benefits for the new year as it relates to payroll deductions and all that fun stuff. So you want to make sure that you stop deductions before the new plan year starts. That way you don't have a scenario where you may be seeing multiple deductions. And then another caveat to that too, or a bonus tip, pre-enrollment, one of the big things you want to look at too is, if you're going through the guided renewal tool, before you decide to copy coverages over to the new plan year, you want to make sure that all of your tasks are cleared out. So if you have open life events, you have open EOIs, you have open document request rules. I'm sorry, I keep saying rules. I'm thinking about rules. You have document requests for the current plan year. You want to make sure all of that information is cleared out before you copy coverages. That way it won't be a scenario where an employee's record for the new plan year isn't up to date as it relates to benefits. And then, like I said before, you have a scenario where they go to the doctor and they don't have the proper coverage because employee only coverage was only showing, that may have copied over, as opposed to the employee plus family because they went through a life event. So you definitely want to make sure pre-enrollment, before you copy coverages, if you're going through the guided renewal tool, you want to make sure you clear out all those tasks so that there isn't any issue. And that's it for us as it relates to the benefits piece. And now we're going to let Robin talk to us about the business intelligence piece.
That's my favorite topic. I'm a blast at parties, if you can tell. I love talking about this stuff. So this is a question that I know I get a lot. I've seen it in the community as well. And it's, are there reports for plan source data in business intelligence? And this is kind of a loaded question. And so I want to use the next slide to try to help answer that. So I want to kind of take a step back, and if we kind of think about where the data comes from. So business intelligence doesn't have a direct connection to plan source. So plan source is UKG's partner, and their platform is their platform. Plan source and UKG has an integrated API between the two systems. I call it BAPI. It's BAPI. So there's data that is transferring between the two platforms. So in business intelligence, there is a way to report on some of that data that's coming in from plan source through that API. But if you're looking at open enrollment reports that are out in business intelligence, those reports are actually going to be pulling data from and I think, Robert, you used the word, the benefits admin. So when you're in core in the system and you're going to the administration tab and you're going down your menu options, if you're going to benefits administration, the full administration word, that's essentially a single sign-on connection to the plan source platform. If you're going to benefits admin is abbreviated. So the open enrollment reports that are in business intelligence are geared towards that area. So depending on where you're going to manage your open enrollment, your life events, and things like that, the reports may be for you or they may not. If you're managing your plans and your enrollment, open enrollment and life events within benefits admin, the reports will work for you. Otherwise, we always recommend that you utilize your basically your record, your source record, which is going to be plan sources, benefits administration.
And also, too, to piggyback off of Robin, Ben Admin has a lot of great reports in its system. Some of them are hard coded, some of them are customized that you can use at your disposal to pull the data that you need. For me, one of the reports that I like to recommend to groups is an employee enrollment roster. It's not a customizable report. However, it pulls all the necessary data that you need to be able to get you the information as it relates to benefit deductions and things of that nature. Another report I like is the benefit report. Now, that report you can kind of tailor to the data that you need to pull. And that's also a great report, too, if you need certain bits of information as it relates to the enrollments. And you can save that report or even have it scheduled to run periodically for you. So that's also a good report as well. Another report I like, which I talked about earlier, is the benefit changes report. That's actually a great report to be able to utilize to let you know the different changes that an employee made as it relates to their enrollment elections. So those are just some of the few reports out of the many. I think there's about 50 reports or so, 40 to 50 reports. Every so often, I think when it's time for releases or updates, the product teams and development teams, they like to take a look at those reports and see how well they're being utilized and determine whether or not if a new report needs to be updated or if there's a report that isn't really being utilized, they may try to recode or turn that report into something different that'll be more useful for groups. But overall, there are a lot of reports in the Ben Admin system that you could take advantage of and utilize at your disposal. And of course, if you need help with those reports, you can always send an inquiry to marketing@mosaic-cg.com. And a person like myself who love benefits administration, I'll be happy to walk you through that report, those different reports. If you want to do a training on it, all that fun stuff, definitely send us an inquiry and let us know, and we can talk through some of the reports and find some that best suit your needs in the benefit administration system.
So the next question is, where could I find reports for open enrollment? And so when it comes to business intelligence, there is two sections. There are two sections that you can go to. And these reports are going to be for data that is coming from benefits admin, not benefits administration. So not plan source enrollment. This is if you're going to benefits admin. And I know this is really small, but you're going to get a copy of the deck, and I'll tell you the path. But when you're in business intelligence, if you're going to your team content, your UltiPro, the BI content, your BI core and payroll, in your delivered reports, there is the folder there for open enrollment reports. These reports are going to pull data from core. So there are reports in there that have information about your benefit business rules, different things like that. So if you're managing your benefits in benefits administration plan source, these reports would not be your best solution. You're going to want to go to the record of truth plan source benefits administration. There are also sample reports that are available in team content and then UltiPro sample reports. And then you click on sample reports and open enrollment reports. And to know what is included in these reports, if you want to do a little more investigating, see what is currently available, I'd like to share with you two places that have great information on those reports. And the first is, so if you go in the community and if you just do a search for people analytics delivered reports, you should find a link to go to this page where you can download an Excel workbook. And within the Excel workbook, and I know it's really small, but you're going to get a copy of it. But in the workbook, there is going to be a tab that has the listing of all delivered reports. There's another tab for all sample content. And in column D of that of the workbook, you can filter by the folder, and you can filter it for open enrollment reports. And then this report will tell you the names of the reports, a general description of what's included, and give you some more information about where that data is coming from, information like that. Another great resource is UKG does a webinar, typically annually, where they will go over, kind of do a training session on what is available within those reports and how you can utilize them. So if you go into the community and you just do a search for People Analytics webinar, you should see a link to take you to their webinar presentations page, which in that listing, you should see one for their latest open enrollment reporting. And next, can I build custom open enrollment reports in business intelligence? So as with everything business intelligence, you can always do things customized. Part of the reason why I like it so much. So you can take the reports that are made available by UKG. You can use your action menu to choose the edit report. Now your edit option is going to be dependent on your security role. If you do not see the edit report option, that may mean you have a consumer role or something like that where you don't have editing capabilities. So it is dependent on your security access. But if you have author or administrator roles, you should be able to save a copy of their delivered reports, and then you can edit and save your changes to either your My Content folder, which is just for you, only you can access those, or you can save it in your team's company folder within the team content. When we think about building custom reports, you may want to build something brand new. You know, you may not want to kind of deconstruct things that UKG has built. You may want to start with just the information that you need. So whenever you're building a new report, some of the packages that you have available is going to be, there's an open enrollment reporting package. And within that, you can report on all of your sessions, including history as well as current sessions. There's also a unified enrollment reporting package where they basically consolidate, and you have a package that has both open enrollment and your life events. And then my favorite package of all time, the administrator package. So, and it's kind of split into two boxes there because there's so many options there. But it also has that open enrollment reporting and unified enrollment reporting. I would mention here, as we kind of talked about the plan source data and the UKG Pro data, there's that API that's between the two, and they are transferring information between the two systems. If you are looking for some of that data that's coming from plan source through that API that is updating your deductions and things like that, you can find that information within open enrollment reporting. Even though really open enrollment reporting folder is built more for benefits admin, you can find that data, that API data that's coming in, because it is being housed within the database. So when you go to open enrollment reporting, you will see little folders for effective data deductions, and that can give you a history of that data that's coming in from plan source. And why should you consider custom reports? And this is kind of Mosaic's, ideology and how we talk about every client. Every client is unique. Every client's needs are unique. And so when UKG builds their delivered content or their sample content, they're building it to meet the needs of as many clients as possible. And when you try to take that broad overview, it may not apply to your company. It may not apply to your company's needs. So customizing reports or building your own reports can really take a really good tool like business intelligence and customize your data to help you be able to look at data more efficiently. Your departments can work more effectively. And this is kind of a synopsis. So it can increase your efficiency, your department's effectiveness. It also has the ability to access that historical information. And if you want to do analysis, so if you like dashboards, if you want to get some insight into your data, there's all kinds of things that you can create within business intelligence. And just as some examples, and I know this is really small, but so this is actually pulling data from that benefits admin section where the life events and open enrollment is under benefits admin, not benefits administration. So it's just some general counts of the employee statuses of their enrollments. It's doing some synopsis, summaries of how many people are in what phase of the process. You can build things to get some more insight into what benefits are people electing as they're completing their enrollments. If you wanted to do some analysis on specific benefits, for example, if you wanted to look at your medical, how many people are currently electing employee only versus the other coverages, how many people are electing, HMO versus PPO, things like that. You definitely have that option with utilizing business intelligence's customization abilities, which I love so much.
So now what we're going to do is take the opportunity to go through the comments and look at some of the questions. So let me get a little closer. I know I'm wearing glasses, but I just want to make sure I still can see some of these questions clearly. Sarah, I hope that was able to answer your question, Sarah Kennedy, around BI as it relates to benefits administration. And I see your question as well, Janet Nixon. As far as BI as it relates to benefits administration, so just to kind of highlight again, business intelligence, no, it doesn't talk to benefits administration, formerly known as Prime. However, you can still pull information out of UKG Pro as it relates to benefits based on the information that pulls from benefits administration and pushes over to UKG Pro, because benefits administration is your source of truth for all your benefits. However, outside of that, like I said, there's a lot of different reports and benefit administration that you can use at your disposal. You can create a report, save it. That way you can go back and pull that information later. Or if you want to run that report and have it scheduled to go, let's say every week, every quarter, however you need the report to be ran for you, you can definitely do that within the benefits administration system. So also too, Heather Watson, to answer your question, the benefit changes report, that's in benefits administration. And let's see what other questions we have. I see a question from Clarence Keelig. I hope I said that right. Is this Q&A only applicable to UKG Pro? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. However, if you do have a suggestion, definitely let us know. Reach out to marketing at mosaic-cg.com. Let us know some suggestions that you have as it relates to UKG Pro. If there's something else that you want us to do a live Q&A on, send that information there. And hopefully we could get something in place for you to kind of help and answer any questions that you may have. Now let's see, let me go through. I see a question, Robin, it's from Mahala. Can a package be created, combined Pro package and WFM package?
Yes. So you can submit a service request to UKG where you can request a custom package to be built where there is a WFM package that they roll out as part of the integration, and you can request that they create a package that combines the two, and you'll have they save it in your company's customs folder. And another kind of tidbit, pro tip, if you are pulling data from benefits administration, plan source, and you're needing to join more data from Pro, you do have the ability within business intelligence to create your own kind of custom package where you can import your reports that are coming out of benefits administration. You can import that data as a CSV file, and then you just have to do some mapping so that you can join the data together and it knows how to put the data together. And then you can report on, all your pro data and that data that's coming out of benefits administration.
Let's see, I'm just going through the questions to see if there are any other questions. Teresa Gibson, hopefully we were able to answer your question. BI reporting only related to Ben admin. Actually, the BI reporting is for UKG as a whole. Let's see. Just want to make sure I try to cover everyone's question. Jessica Lyman, can confirmation statements be sent out as a mass process to all employees? There is a way to be able to send batch confirmation statements within benefits administration to employees. You just want to ensure that every employee in the system has an email address on file. That way you're able to get them the confirmation statement. Also, too, something else I want to go back to when I reference post-enrollment, kind of trying to make sure that employees validate their coverages before the new plan year start. There's also a communication tool within benefits administration, and you can use that to send out communication to employees to kind of remind them, hey, make sure you review your coverages before the new plan year start. That way there's no issue. The good thing with that is if all employees have email on file, you're able to go into their record to track when that notification was sent to the employee. So if there's a scenario where they say, I've never received it, you can kind of go to their record into the notification history and see the different notifications that are in place. You can review that to see what was sent out to that employee as it relates to the communication or any type of notification that's set up to be sent to employees in the benefits administration system. So that's another cool tool to be able to utilize within benefits admin as well. Let's see. Janet Nixon, like I said, I hope we were able to answer your question as it relates to the reporting for BI. Okay, I believe the person was referred to open enrollment classic versus pro. If Kathleen, if you could kind of rephrase that question, or if someone else had a question as relates to that, I'm not sure if you're talking about as far as the reporting piece or just open enrollment in general as it relates to classic versus pro. Christy, you would love if we did one of these calls on BI editing. That's a great idea. We'll definitely take that feedback. So thank you for posting that idea.
Yes, I love that idea.
If the OE information, well, for this particular session that we're doing, we're trying to do it around, open enrollment for actually benefits administration. However, with the BI piece, you can pull the benefit data that comes for benefit administration over to UKG Pro using BI. But as far as this session goes, we're kind of doing it around benefits administration. However, if you do want to see a future session around UKG Pro Classic as it relates to open enrollment for those who are utilizing UKG Pro Classic, I don't know why I want to say UKG, but UKG Pro Classic for benefits, definitely let us know, and we can also do a session around open enrollment as it relates to UKG Pro Classic. We can have one of our experts get on the call like this, do a live Q&A to kind of answer your questions that you may have with that. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, Christy Hill, this presentation will be available. You'll receive an email of the recording if you signed up, as well as a copy of the slide deck. So no worries that you joined late. We still appreciate you taking the time to come to this webinar. You will be able to receive a copy of the slide deck as well as a recording. And you can also go back to LinkedIn, go to Mosaic Consulting Group on LinkedIn, and you should be able to watch the recording on there as well. And leave a comment if you have any feedback around future ideas that you'd like to see for a live Q&A session.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Crystal.
If this OE information is only related to Pro. Yes, it's related to UKG Pro in a sense, but it's still referencing benefits administration. So it's referencing benefits administration as it relates to open enrollment. But however, we're just letting you know that you can pull the benefit information within UKG Pro using business intelligence. But with the source of truth being benefits administration, you're able to utilize the reporting that's in benefits administration as well to get the information that you need. So hopefully, Kathleen, I was able to answer your question. If you want to provide a more detailed question, send that information to marketing@mosaic-cg.com, and I'll definitely do my best to get you a better answer if you still feel like I haven't been able to provide a clear answer for you, because I definitely want you to have a clear answer if you feel like you're not getting that right now. Let's see. Guess we could give it a few minutes for any more questions.
Thank you, Justine.
And if it sounded like I was talking too fast today, I apologize. I've had 2 cups of coffee this morning, so I'm kind of excited. I was happy to be able to do this live webinar to kind of answer some questions for you all around benefits administration. Folgers, for those who like coffee, Folgers, that's the way to go. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. So I've had 2 cups of Folgers coffee this morning, so I'm kind of excited. You can relate to that, Angela? I appreciate it. So I'm not the only one. Okay. Well, if there are any more questions, like I said, we do thank you all so much for your time if you were able to join. Just so you know, we appreciate the UKG customers. We appreciate you. We value your business. We thank you so much. For those who aren't UKG customers, we still appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Definitely consider coming aboard here at Mosaic. We would love to help you change legacy systems into the UKG platform. We have a team full of experts that can help you through that process. We wish you a successful open enrollment as well as post enrollment, because the first few months of your new plan year, that's just as critical. If you need help with both of those, like I said, definitely reach out, marketing@mosaic-cg.com, and we'll be happy to assist you. And then once again, if you have any future ideas, definitely let us know for a live Q&A session. And we'll be happy to get experts in those areas as well to come aboard and answer some questions for you all. So we thank everyone for your time and hope you enjoy your day and the rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Have a good one.
Bye now.